part 3 of finishing the front of the workshop. This episode will finish up the conclusion of finishing painting the front facade. Here I'm starting with the background color, which is the main color that we have the house painted. And here I'm simply cutting in along the cove molding on each of the panels. Taking my time. I usually add a little extra paint and just dab it in a spot. That way I can come back and pull more paint. Very carefully just cut it into the edge. Here I'm just adding paint to get coverage. And notice, best paint technique to pull back through your brush strokes to eliminate the marks that were left from painting with a brush. And pull your strokes back through. Now here I'm going with an intermediate color. It's kind of a orange brick color. It's the color that we have the soffit and the fascias painted on the entire house. As you can see, the steep angle that I'm holding my brush is to be able to pull the paint across the surface without a lot of it getting into the V-carved areas. Here I'm cutting in the top edge on the side of the panels. The cove molding was actually 11/16 and the boards were 3/4, so there's a 1/16 inch reveal at the corner edge of where the panel meets with the cove molding. See the steep angle on which I'm holding the brush and pulling it across the surface so it glides over the V-carved area, so we don't get a lot of paint down in that area that we have to try and blend over. That makes it easier then when we go to paint the V-carved areas later on. Again, pull your brush strokes. Now here I'm using the brown dark color that we have for trim around the house and the gable ends on the house. So we're doing the outside cove molding on both the panels and the outside of the panels where they connect to the brick molding. I've also taped off with some painter's tape so I don't get any big smudges accidentally on the main portion. I have to go back over it again. You might also note in the background you can see the One of the French doors, we've already painted the door, the main color of the house, and then we'll also paint the trim on around the window and on the edges the same color scheme. Again, just making sure I got good coverage with the paint and then pulling back through the brush strokes. Now this is the tedious part of all the painting, is doing the V carved areas. And what I was using was a small artist brush to go in and just hand paint that area so that it fills in the white just to cover the primer up, and then fill in the actual carved areas. It's just the easiest way to do it with it already mounted on the side of the house, but it just took a lot of time. And here the doors are pretty much done. I'm just doing a little touch up. Again, we follow the same paint scheme on the trim around the windows and the trim on the sides of the doors. All done.
Hey everyone, well that wraps up this series of videos we did on redoing the front facade of the workshop. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it wasn't too long. There was a lot of stuff going on there. I wanted to show you little tidbits of everything as we went along. So I hope you were able to at least endure the time watching them. And if you liked what you saw, appreciate a thumbs up. If you want to keep continuing on watching some of the other projects we're going to work on in the future and other things we're going to do to the shop with the CNC router that we have, all that kind of stuff is going to be continuing to come on. So if you want to stay tuned for all that, keep an eye on what we got going on, please subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. And I think that's it. So we'll call this one a wrap. Thanks everyone for watching. Take care.
Thanks so much everyone for watching. Please subscribe and take care.
You're on video. Of course, the truck has to drive by.